Welcome back to Breaking Dawn right here on Newsroom Africa, Channel 405. Now, last week there were reports that POP Crew, the Police, Prisons and Civil Rights Union, had called for better vetting of police officials, those serving in the South African Police Service. Shortly after that, the union itself found itself in a rather bizarre scandal. The CEO of the investment arm, Zwelinkosi Mdletshe, union member Robert Sherriff, are said to have been involved in a matter for which the Hawks are looking for them, allegedly plotting to kidnap and murder other POP Crew members. This, of course, raises questions about how some police officials conduct themselves. In fact, again, referring to that story, there was the issue around the vetting of police officers serving in SAPS. And today, we mentioned it this morning, a story in the papers about 100 million rand that's said to have gone missing from the union. And so we're joined in studio by POP Crew spokesperson Richard Mamabolo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's start with the first issue raised a few weeks ago, the vetting of police officers. You raised the flag that there should be a better job done of that. How is that currently working?
Look, I think there had been commitments made just before Congress by the National Commissioner, but we have not seen the effects of that, because what would happen is that the intelligence is supposed to ensure that the vetting process is concluded before anybody can get employed into the SAPS. It's quite important. Now, the role that is supposed to be played is through ensuring that the Deputy National Commissioner within the HR division ensures that before anybody is appointed into a position, their files are taken through to the intelligence so that they make sure that all those people are vetted. The risk of not having people vetted is such that they could obviously handle sensitive information that's not supposed to be shared, but as well, it has also created a lot of mistrust. That is why we've been having a lot of challenges over the past years where we could not have, not even a single commissioner has finished his or her term. You'd remember that the only one who has done that was the first one, which was George Fivers. Now, due to the fact that people have not been vetted, do not have the proper security clearances, even at the highest level of the SAPS, creates a situation where there's internal infighting, and of course people then prefer to hire their cronies or work with certain individuals who are not in the long run, in the bigger scheme of things, interested in ensuring that the work of the SAPS is concluded. So it should be something that starts at that level, because, if you have a commissioner, for example, we've had many commissioners. You have a commissioner who just upon being appointed into that position, and then there are already scandals coming out which come from his past. It then speaks to the fact that the vetting process has not been clear. So now what do you tell those who are at the lower grounds within the SAPS?
Look, these are valid points. And I suppose the question would be, how do you then ensure that the vetting process is followed and more thorough?
Yeah, no, look, that is why we are saying that we need to ensure that the Deputy National Commissioner, who deals with HR within that HR division, should be accountable for ensuring that before anybody is employed, before they hire anyone, because HR is the one which would obviously hire people, they ensure that everybody has complied with those processes. The failure to do that, of course, results in what we currently see today, where there's a lot of infighting and the work of the police is compromised. You go to, for example, the Western Cape. We do not even have a provincial commissioner at this moment because of the infighting that has been happening there. Different people establishing different units to deal with gangsterism until all of them cannot function properly because of the infighting. So it's something that we obviously need to deal with and ensure that it is quite strengthened. So the National Commissioner would have to rein in on his deputies in ensuring that they fulfill that role.
So in the absence of proper vetting, security clearance for members of SAPS, does that mean some of these individuals who haven't been vetted are members of POP Crew, and POP Crew would then be... So do you guys undertake a different set of vetting background checks for members, or as soon as someone is a member of the South African Police Service and they obviously register, sign the membership fee, they can join POP Crew? So what has been the impact of the failure of SAPS's vetting on POP Crew itself?
Look, we are not the employer in the first place. So the SAPS is the one which is tasked with the role of, well, the responsibility of vetting, because at the end of the day, all these people work for the SAPS. Now, we just a union that represents the interests of all these workers, regardless of whether they've been vetted or not. We would not know. We know, for example, that there might be those, I think just 3 weeks ago, there was a report about 4,000 police officers with criminal records who obviously, because it's possible that some do get criminal records after they had been employed and vetted and they were clear. Only when they're in the service you get to such instances. So the reason we encourage this is because I think our broader goal is that we want to achieve as POPCRU is to ensure that we regain the stability that police and communities need to have in order for us to fight crime. That's a prerequisite. So in doing that, you would obviously need to have a kind of police that are reliable, the kind of police that are not always accused of wrongdoing, the kind of police that are always willing to obviously go out and help with communities. Currently, the relationship between members of the community and police is not the best of relations, but as well, media platforms as well. Every time police do good, is never reported. It's expected to be as normal. Yet when there are issues, media normally comes down harsh on the police. So police brutality is not something that we promote. We do not promote any kind of brutality, be it against police or be it against the public.
Richard, speak to us now about the matter regarding the CEO of your investment arm, the 100 million rand that is allegedly missing. Is there any truth to that?
Look, we read about such things through the media, and again, we need to separate between POPCRU and its investment arm. You see, the investment arm has got its own board, its own processes that they deal with. We do not necessarily directly relate in that kind of fashion. So those are matters that the board would best be able to reply to.
But you can tell us whether or not the money has been reported missing, because they invest money on your behalf.
No, most definitely, but we read about those. They've got their own processes. I mean, just last week again, there were reports about suspensions and all those things. We would not necessarily be privy to all that information because it's the board. It's got its own processes that they run with, and POPCRU is quite different because we focus on ensuring that members are serviced, and we raise issues that we negotiate for members. We are in bargaining councils and all those other things. We had a congress just 2 weeks ago where we took resolutions, and currently we are focused on ensuring that we implement all those decisions which were obviously put forth by members, ordinary members from different structures across the country. So with regards to the, of course it is a concern, but we're not in a position to speak for on behalf of the board. There are structures which are mandated to deal with that, within that angle.
And so if you're saying that you're reading about some of these occurrences or happenings in the media, have you written formally to the board, that structure that is empowered to deal with these issues, to try to get some clarity from them? What has your engagement been following reading about some of these allegations?
It is quite normal that if a board belongs to, like POPCRU, for example, like this one, there would be scheduled meetings which they would obviously undertake, and I might not be aware if that process has started, but obviously the union will get a briefing since the PGC is POPCRU group of companies. It's an investment arm of the union. So there will definitely be accountability in that regard. But as to the details of what is currently happening, who has done what and all those things, the board would be better placed to respond to those.
And then regarding the members that you represent, how do they feel about the state of policing in South Africa? So how do they feel?
Look, members express themselves through Congress. There have been a lot of discussions. I think we came out with documents, looking into ideal policing, ideal corrections. Different ministers were there and commissioners. We spoke out about the challenges that are currently faced by all these members. And it's quite, I think, as things stand, members are clearly not happy. You know that there are expected budget cuts. I mean, the Treasury has instructed the SAPS to cut down on their budget by 2 billion. Now, the President said in his State of the Nation address that we would like to have the violent crime rates by half in the next decade. Now, if you are looking at cutting that, cutting the budget of the police, whilst they're still currently having a lot of challenges, there's uneven allocation of resources across our police stations. In affluent areas, they are sorted, they're fine. In rural areas and squatter camps, you find that there are challenges. You go there, you find that there's a bakkie that has been parked for 6 months or so. Now, when community members complain or call police, they expect an immediate response. Now, police, for example, they would have one vehicle at a police station, which is already doing other tasks. Now, when police come after an hour or so to a scene, people think that police are useless, but they do not consider that the allocation of resources might have obviously hampered the service delivery, the kind of service delivery that we want to ensure. So those are some of the things that have been raised to ensure that there's some kind of action that is raised in ensuring that more budget is put into ensuring that the allocation of resources is something that is considered. DCS as well, we've got overcrowding and understaffing. Our prison population grows on a daily basis. Our members are killed. Our members are attacked on a regular basis. Some are even raped. Women are raped in correctional centers. Yet the department knows that this is the challenge. Its core role is to rehabilitate. Yet under such conditions, we cannot obviously have rehabilitation. Why can't we have prisons being self-sustainable, ensuring that we move them to the farms, we build prisons in farms where they can produce their own food, the beds that they use, they can manufacture them, the clothes that they wear, they can manufacture them. Because currently we've got 85% reoffending rate, meaning that people who are released from our prisons, 85% of them tend to go back because they are not gaining any form of skills. They lie idle within correctional centers. That is why most of them join gangs within correctional centers. Instead, they could be given certain skills so that when they are released, they can sustain themselves and even become employers.
Richard, that's where we're going to have to leave it. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. That's Richard Mamabolo, the spokesperson of Pop Crew. Love to hear your thoughts on some of the issues that have been raised by Pop Crew. Tweet us at 45 Mornings. The hashtag is Breaking Dawn on 405.